Moving day. Ugh, just the phrase can make you tense up, right? You picture this whirlwind of boxes, packing tape everywhere, and just general chaos. But what if it didn't have to be like that? What if there was a playbook, a step-by-step guide to turn all that potential stress into a smooth, organized process? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down. Okay, so let's zoom out and take a look at the big picture. This timeline is basically our roadmap for the entire day. And you'll notice it's not one giant, scary event. It's a series of smaller, totally manageable stages. From that 7 a.m. coffee and last-minute check to the movers leaving around 7 p.m. Seeing it laid out like this, it already feels a lot less intimidating, doesn't it? Now, to make sure that timeline actually runs like clockwork, the real work starts right here. A truly successful moving day doesn't kick off when you hear the truck pull up. Nope. It actually begins the night before. These few hours are your secret weapon for laying the groundwork for a stress-free day. And this right here is the core idea. That last bit of prep you do the night before, it's not about giving yourself more work. It's about investing in your future self's peace of mind. Seriously, every box you label, every pathway you clear, that's one less thing you have to freak out about when things get busy. Think of your prep work in two parts. On one side, you're prepping the space for the movers, clearing hallways, making sure they have a spot to park the truck. But on the other side, and this is just as important, you're preparing for yourself. You're getting your own personal toolkit and command station ready for the day ahead. Which brings us to a really critical question. The movers have all their gear, the dollies, the straps, but what about your toolkit? What are those small, simple things that can turn into absolute lifesavers when you need them most? And here's the answer. And look, it's not super complicated. We're not talking about heavy machinery here. We're talking about a box cutter, a marker, and snacks. The real genius of this list is just having it all in one place. It stops that moment of panic when you're tearing through sealed boxes just to find a phone charger. And all of that leads us to probably the single most important concept for your moving day prep, the essentials kit. Just think of it like an overnight bag for your whole life. And the absolute #1 golden rule is that this kit travels with you, in your car. It never, ever goes on the moving truck. So what goes into this survival kit? Well, think about everything you would need to feel like a human being after a long, tiring day. We're talking toilet paper, soap, any medications you need, a fresh change of clothes, food for your pets. This isn't just about being practical, it's about giving yourself a moment of comfort before the real unpacking madness begins. Okay, prep work is officially done. Now it's time for the main event, the move. Once that truck pulls up to your curb, the day starts to unfold in a pretty clear, step-by-step way, all the way from loading to unloading. And this shows the flow perfectly. It's really logical when you see it like this. First, you'll greet the crew and give them a quick walkthrough. Then you'll supervise as they load everything up. You'll head to the new place, and then you'll direct where everything goes during the unload. See? You have an active role in every single step. Now, during that loading phase, you are basically the director of the movie. The movers are the experts at Tetrising that truck, but you are the expert on your stuff. Your job is just to be available, point out the boxes marked fragile, and answer any questions. It's how you make sure everything gets handled the way you want. The truck is packed, the old place is empty, and you just unlocked the door to your new home. What an incredible feeling. But before you kick back, these first few hours are so important. This is where you set yourself up for a great first night. The absolute key here is to not get buried by the mountain of boxes. Just focus on these 3 things. Number 1, get the beds put together. A good night's sleep is non-negotiable. Number 2, open that precious essentials kit. And number 3, set up the coffee maker. Trust me, your morning self will thank you. While the movers are bringing things in, take 5 minutes to do a quick utility check. Yeah, you scheduled everything to be turned on, but now's the time to double check. Flip a light switch, turn on a faucet, and most importantly, test the smoke alarms. This little check ensures your new home is safe and ready to go from minute 1. All right, so we've covered the big timeline and the top priorities, but I know there are always a few little questions that pop up. So let's do a quick rapid-fire round and clear up any of those last-minute worries. First up, the alarm clock. We all wonder this, right? How early is too early? And what's the latest you can start without the whole day descending into chaos? Here's the pro tip. Give yourself a buffer.
You want to be up and totally ready a good hour or two before the movers are even scheduled to get there. This isn't wasted time. This is your time to do one last sweep, have a calm cup of coffee, and be ready to greet them without feeling frazzled.
Okay, next question. What's the very last thing that happens with the moving company? Like, how do you officially wrap things up?
It's a simple two-step process. First, you'll do a final walkthrough to make sure every single box and piece of furniture made it and is in good shape. Then, once you're satisfied, you sign the final paperwork. That's it. Job done.
And for our last question, let's just hammer this point home one more time because it really is the most important takeaway of the whole day. What are the absolute, cannot mess this up essentials that have to stay with you? Yep, you guessed it. It's everything that's in your essentials box. Your toiletries, your meds, your chargers, your important papers. Just think of it this way. If the moving truck got delayed for 24 hours, could you function? This box is your insurance policy. And that really brings us full circle. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? At the end of the day, knowledge is power. When you understand the flow of the day, the stress just kind of melts away. So try to think of your moving day not as this big, chaotic mess, but more like a story. It has a beginning, that's your preparation. It has a middle, that's the move itself. And it has an end, your new home. And in that story, you're the director. So now that you've got the playbook and all the logistics are handled, I'll leave you with one final thought. Once the last box is in, what's that very first personal thing you're going to do? Maybe hang a picture or put on some music to officially make that new house your new home.